My name's Owen, I'm 29, and I've always been the responsible one in my family. That's just a polite way of saying I've been the guy silently covering expenses, while everyone else pretended that was completely normal. I work in the tech world, make a solid income, and since the day I landed my first serious job, my parents somehow decided that meant I was supposed to give back. Not emotionally, but financially. It began with small contributions, chipping in for food, helping cover my little brother's college fees, paying for sudden house repairs when the place started breaking down. I didn't mind at first. I told myself I was just helping them stay afloat. But over time, my generosity became something they didn't just expect, they felt entitled to. And when I say expect, I don't mean they asked nicely. I mean they stopped saying thank you, stopped acknowledging it entirely. It was just assumed that I'd step in, that I'd handle it. This year, I covered their entire mortgage. That was never supposed to happen. My dad made some questionable investments. Turns out it involved cryptocurrency and a sketchy friend from his golf club named Terry. And suddenly the bank was threatening to foreclose on their home. My mom called me one night in February, sobbing into the phone. She said they were going to lose everything. She didn't ask for help, she just told me, "We're depending on you." So I did it. I set up an automatic monthly payment of $2,300 straight from my account to their bank. I never mentioned it again, never held it over their heads, never demanded appreciation. I thought maybe this would be the year they finally saw how much I cared. Maybe I'd feel like part of the family again. Fast forward to Christmas. I spent the week wrapping personalized gifts for everyone. Thoughtful stuff. My brother Aiden, who's 26 and still figuring out his life, was getting a new graphics card. My mom was getting that high-end skincare cream she always says is too expensive. For my dad, I tracked down a collectible baseball from a game he always talked about seeing as a kid. I even brought gifts for my aunt and uncle who were hosting the holiday this year. I drove 3 hours to get there, loaded up the trunk, dressed nicely. I was hopeful. Maybe, just maybe, this time would be different. It wasn't. I arrived while dinner was already underway. No one came to greet me at the door. No one helped me carry anything inside. My aunt raised her wine glass from across the room and gave a lazy wave. I slid the presents under the tree and made my way to the dining room. 14 people sat at the table, 14 plates, but not 15. When I asked, my aunt said, "Oh, we weren't sure if you'd make it. You've been a bit distant lately." And she said it with this smug little smile like it was a joke. But there was nothing funny about it. I looked to my mom. She just offered a tight-lipped shrug. My dad was already carving the ham. Aiden chuckled and said, "Hey, thanks for keeping the roof over our heads this year." Everyone laughed, like it was a hilarious little moment, like it was normal. My stomach sank, but I smiled. I didn't want to cause a scene. Someone eventually dragged a folding chair out of the hallway for me. It wobbled every time I shifted. My plate wasn't even real, just a flimsy plastic one from a stack next to the sink. "There's extra ham in the garage fridge," my aunt shouted. "Help yourself if you're hungry." Nobody passed me anything. Nobody offered me a drink. It was like I didn't exist, just the guy who paid the bills, not someone they actually cared about. I looked at the pile of gifts beneath the tree. Every single one of them was from me. None were for me, not even a single card. Later, my mom leaned over and said, "Owen, we didn't get you anything this year. You've been distant. We didn't know what you'd want." I almost burst out laughing. I wanted to yell. But instead, I excused myself to the bathroom, sat on the edge of the tub, and stared at the tile floor for 10 minutes trying not to cry. I kept telling myself I was overreacting, that they didn't mean it, that maybe they just forgot, but I knew. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they didn't care. I left without saying a word. No drama, no goodbye. I walked into the freezing night, climbed into my car, and sat there with the engine running. That's when I opened my banking app. See, I had access to all the shared cards. I was listed as the primary account holder on the gas card, the grocery account, and the emergency Amex. The one they claimed they only used for real emergencies, which apparently included a $400 dinner at Applebee's last month. I also had the power to freeze all of them, and I stared at the screen for a long time thinking about it. This wasn't just about money anymore. This was about how they'd been taking from me for years, time, energy, dignity, and never once saw it as love, only as responsibility. I was done being their personal ATM. I froze every card. Then I shut off access to the shared card, a 2019 Toyota technically registered under my name because my parents' credit was trashed. I had installed a tracker. I disabled the key remotely. At 10:39 p.m., my dad called me twice. I didn't answer. At 10:58, my mom texted, "Why can't we get gas?" At 11:03, I sent them something I had prepared months ago, just in case I ever needed it. It was a screenshot of every mortgage payment I'd made over the past year, 12 total, totaling nearly $28,000. Attached was a PDF copy of a loan agreement they had both signed and had notarized back in February. It clearly stated they would pay me back either when they were financially stable or within 1 calendar year, whichever came first. And beneath it, I typed a single line. You have 5 days to make this right. Otherwise, the next email goes to your bank and to Aunt Carol's lawyer, who I hear is very good with civil claims. Was it petty? Maybe. Was it cruel? Possibly. But it was also necessary. They had leaned on me like I was unbreakable furniture, silent and sturdy. And I let them. But that night, sitting alone in my apartment with the gifts I had bought still untouched in the trunk of my car, something inside me finally snapped. I realized I wasn't just hurt about Christmas. I was grieving the version of a family I thought I had. They didn't call back that night, but I watched the receipts come in one by one. The next morning I got a text, not from my parents but from Aiden. Dude, what the hell did you do? Mom's freaking out. I ignored it. At noon, my dad messaged me. Let's be mature about this. Come talk. But I didn't want a conversation. I wanted consequences. I wanted them to feel something, anything. Over the next 2 days, things began to unravel for them. The car sat dead in their driveway. My dad had to take an Uber to work for the first time in his life. The grocery card was declined when my mom tried to buy dog food. Aiden couldn't get gas and left me 4 voicemails, swearing and blaming me for ruining the holiday. On day 3, my aunt, the same one who told me to get ham from the garage, called. Sweetheart, she began in that syrupy fake voice, I just wanted to check on you. I heard there was tension. Tension? I asked. You mean when I was given a folding chair and no place setting and told to dig through the fridge like a stray? She coughed awkwardly. We didn't mean anything by that. You've just been so distant. We didn't want to overwhelm you. No, I said. You didn't want to include me. That's different. There was silence. Then, can't we just move forward? It's Christmas. I ended the call without another word. I wasn't interested in empty apologies. I wanted action, accountability, and none of them offered either. By the 3rd night, I sat at my desk staring at the mortgage portal. January's payment was due soon. My automatic payment was disabled. I hovered over the Notify Lender button, not because I wanted to ruin them, but because I wanted them to finally feel the weight of everything I'd been carrying. Then came the knock. It was nearly midnight. Snow was falling. I looked through the peephole. It was my mom. She stood there in her old navy coat, holding something wrapped in torn holiday paper. Her eyes were red and puffy. I opened the door just a little. Owen, she said softly, can we talk? I glanced down. In her arms was the baseball I had gifted to my dad, the one from his childhood game. The wrapping was crumpled and covered in tape. The card I had written was scratched out. She held it out like a peace offering. We didn't realize, she whispered. We thought you were just being cold. We didn't see. I didn't take the gift. She continued, your father's too proud to say it, but we need you. Not just for money. Please don't cut us off. I looked at her, really looked. For the first time, I saw through the guilt and emotional manipulation. I saw the woman who raised me, the same woman who had quietly stood by while I was used. So I asked her, do you even like me? Or just what I provide? She froze, didn't say a word. Snow fell behind her in silence. She finally whispered, of course I like you, you're my son. That's not what I asked, I replied. You say you love me when you need help, but do you like me when I'm not useful? She looked down. When did things get so complicated? They've always been this way, I said. You just never noticed or didn't care to. She looked up. That's not fair. No, I said. What's not fair is pretending I'm only part of this family when it's convenient. I continued. I brought gifts. I showed up, and still no one saved me a plate. Aiden laughed about the mortgage. You handed me a plastic plate and sent me to the garage. My mom was crying, but it wasn't the dramatic crying I'd seen before. It was real. Messy. I wanted so badly to believe I mattered, I said. But this year proved I don't. None of you know me, none of you even try. She wiped her eyes. So what now? I leaned against the doorframe. I don't know. But for once I'm not going to fix it. She slumped a bit, then held the baseball out again. Keep it, I said. He doesn't deserve it, not yet. Then I shut the door, not with force, just finality. I stood there for a while, listening to her footsteps crunch in the snow as she walked away. Then I poured myself a glass of water, sat down, and let the silence wash over me. But it wasn't over. The next morning I got a call from Aiden. And what he told me made my blood run cold.